Here we are.
Hello there. Here we are, just chatting. You can go ahead and click on my icon now.
Okay.
I promised my son that I would give him some airtime when we first started because that will keep him from being a little dick and interrupting us a billion times later. So, Vinny, if you're ready, I can't quite get it to stand up as straight as I want to. But... Oh my god, did he just knock himself unconscious?
No, he's alive.
That is how you make an entrance. That is how you make an entrance. Oh.
Vinny.
Alright, if you're not going to take it...
I am.
Okay. You can say hello.
Hey.
There's our video.
Hey there.
He just wanted to be a part of it, but he always gets in the way when he's right with us the whole time, even though he doesn't try to be. We're wearing it sideways. You know your father would freak out if he saw that. You clicked on our video or what?
It says live now.
Click on just chat. There we go.
Oh, sorry.
It happens. Sometimes it just doesn't look that way.
I'm new to this. Do forgive me.
It's only our second time doing it too. So
yeah.
I'm imagining it says no watchers yet, but I can't see the chat.
One watching now.
Oh, it's us.
Yeah, I know. We're watching ourselves. Did we know that?
If you want to, you can go down to volume and mute it, because we know there's lag. There's always lag.
Look!
Oh, what's it say?
It says, Dave is here.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. You can look down here, right down there.
It says,
You scroll down a little bit.
I know.
I have answered the call. And hello, Vinny.
Is that
What?
James? Is that Andy?
Yeah.
Hey, Andy. How you doing? He always loves it when you give him a call out.
What?
That's Andy.
Andy.
Have anything you want to say or ask?
Well, hello, Andy. How's you doing? How's your day?
Click on volume. At least the lag isn't as bad this time. It seems to only be about 3 seconds.
Could you hear me? I can't.
Scroll back up a little bit while you're there.
I know.
He probably heard. No, you can't. Oh, your thing? Okay, go ahead. He wants to pause his video. Did he answer?
I'm coming back.
Did he say anything else?
My day is good. Thanks for asking.
All right. Are you glad you got to be a part of it?
I'm still gonna be in.
Oh, only for about 5 minutes, okay?
But Mom,
Vinny,
I'm not gonna mess around with you.
Except that you are messing around with the camera by kicking off the table a bunch of times.
I wanna help.
I know, but we're talking about stuff, okay? We're going to be talking about slightly more grown-up stuff, okay? No? It's not okay?
Yes.
All right. Why don't we ask Vinny a question or two? And if Andy or anybody else that shows up in the chat has a question, they can ask it. But, up to them. I don't know if you saw that, but it actually, the new chat comments actually show up on my phone for a second.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm personally too far away to get that.
No, you could. But if you see something flash up there, you can look down there.
Yep.
So, Vinny, what is your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show,
Or your Netflix?
Magic School Bus.
I like the Magic School Bus too. Who's your favorite character?
Arnold.
Arnold's my favorite character too. I liked Arnold and I liked Phoebe.
What about you, Andy?
I don't know if you'll have ever heard anything Andy's liked. If you stood up and Vinny, stop jumping. Our neighbors are making god-awful lot of noise again. I might have to move the phone lower. I like it not looking up our noses, but I might have to move it lower. Has he happened to comment again?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I can't see, so whatever. Enzo, lie down and shut up.
Oh,
Okay. Go ahead, read it.
I remember there was still Magic School Bus from at least because it's still on TV.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, Andy. So my mom and Auntie Dawn got asked you some questions, so I'll be right back.
Well, I don't have any questions directly to ask Andy right now. I haven't checked the Patreon and all that in 2 days, so I don't know how that's going. But I was watching it adamantly for a while for you there, because I'm so interested, obviously. I'm invested in the whole let's review Hannibal. Vinny was kind of off about reading his thing though, so can you read it to me again?
His comments.
Mm-hmm. The last one.
The last one. I remember the Magic School Bus from my childhood. Didn't realize it was still on TV.
Okay.
We're halfway to Hannibal.
All right, that's good. $200 that means, or nearly there. All right. Yeah, he likes the old Magic School Bus too, but he's also been watching the remake one that came out. You're gonna stand back so you don't jab the table so much, okay?
Yeah.
Vinny's favorite thing to watch on YouTube lately has been anything to do with Undertale and Flowey.
Yes.
Yes. Any views on Undertale out there? Is he the only one that's commented? I thought I saw another thing pop up.
No.
Okay.
Is someone else gonna comment?
It's just I thought I saw something pop up here, that's why I got confused. Fair enough.
You can say something back to him.
Yeah, I know that. But we gotta go slow, and in just a minute, I'm gonna kick you out and we'll actually get this going.
No,
What did I tell you? Once he had commented, if he does, about the Undertale thing, then we can send you out to watch your videos, and you will behave yourself. There we go. You can read it down there, yeah.
Not played Undertake, but I do appreciate Five Nights at Freddy's.
Vinny is wearing his Five Nights at Freddy's shirt. Yeah, he had never even seen anything having to do with the game before he did that. That's not very nice.
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
moosed the hell out of her hair to get it out of her face. You're not helping. I mean, the mousse doesn't hold as it is, but you're not helping.
That's okay, Vinny.
All right, I love you. I'm glad you got to be on the screen for a minute. Thank you.
No,
It is now time for you to go.
I want you to have
Vinny,
it.
all right, I'll come over here. Go watch the video and behave yourself. All right. He had his moment in the sun, and now that helped us start out loose a little bit.
Yep.
But just to pass the time for a minute, we're going to do a little brief, well, hopefully brief. I've been watching it adamantly for a while, so I could get long-winded with this. Feel free to interrupt me, Andy. We're going to have a very short Vampire Diaries tag. It's 10 questions, and it's just to get the ball rolling a little bit, because we couldn't decide what to talk about.
Okay, so our first question is, how did you first discover the show?
Okay.
And in my case, I discovered it, I think when it did start, 2008, I believe, or
2009. Yeah,
in 2009, I did discover it, but I didn't consistently watch it while it was on, so Star got me into watching it again. So
Yeah.
I'm on season 4 now.
Yep. I've watched the series as a whole about 7 times now on season 4 with her, because we're watching it as close together as we can.
Mm-hmm.
I keep getting ahead of her by 6 or 7 episodes, and I have to wait for her to catch up. But I discovered it, I was at the laundromat with our mother-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw it, an ad for it in a magazine.
Oh.
And that's how I discovered the show existed. I watched the premiere, but unfortunately we had one TV in the apartment, so the following week when Survivor aired, same time, same night, I got booted and I never went back to it until about, let's see, the last season just ended this past year, last year. So it's been 3 years since I started watching it. Something like that. 2 to 3 years since I started watching it, because it was in the middle of its second to last season when I started watching it. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Who is your favorite character?
Want to say it together?
We'll say Damon. We love Damon.
Yes. Who's your second favorite character, Dave? That's harder to pick usually.
Let's see. Probably Caroline, and it surprised me.
Yeah, that's my favorite character too, actually.
Yeah.
My second favorite character. Possibly followed by Klaus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
I like
Caroline or Klaus, depending on what's going on when.
Yeah. So far for me, it's been Caroline. And
Yes. Has anybody said anything? Just check real quick.
no.
Okay. I didn't really expect it. He doesn't have much to say about this show, so I'm not expecting that. It's okay. Just passing a couple of minutes real quick here.
The next question is human or animal?
Yes, that is a question about if you were a vampire, would you drink human or vampire blood? I fall in that I would drink animal blood intermittently to not hurt so many humans potentially, but I would definitely consist of mostly a human diet because I would just snatch, eat, and erase because you can erase their minds and make them forget what happened. Unless I was a ripper, then I would do the Stefan thing and go on a rabbit diet. Because there's some vampires that they just can't stop once they taste blood, so they have absolutely no impulse control.
Yes, and he is one of them.
Yes.
Very much so. And I also would go with human blood. But like you said,
If I'm a ripper, not so much. Probably not a good, not conducive to life, honestly.
yeah.
People usually kill you for that.
Yeah, well, fortunately,
Yeah.
if you're a vampire, you come back. So
Depends on who kills you and how.
that's true. It's not like they can't be killed, but
I
it's
mean-
not real easy.
I mean, if they just snap your neck, you're gonna come back in a couple hours. If they stake you through the heart, you're gonna die if you're not an original. And if they tear your heart out, you're pretty much dead.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
One would think that if your heart was pulled out.
Yeah, well, one would think that without a heartbeat, you would not be able to get a boner, but they do that plenty, don't they?
Yes, they do. But we're not objecting.
No. Something else said? It just looks like other things have been said because it looks like something's right there, but that's fine.
That's us if we want to
Okay.
say something.
No, I thought there was something about it. That's okay.
Okay. All right.
I hate not being able to see at a distance.
Team Stefan or Team Damon?
Well, that's obvious.
That's
Team
obvious.
Damon.
Team Damon. For both of us.
Why are you not Team Stefan? I'll ask you because you haven't seen the whole thing yet.
Because from what I've seen, with him being a ripper and everything, he seems kind of almost hypocritical about a lot of what his brother does.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, when he goes off and does something, it's like really, really bad. And he acts like Damon is the terrible one.
Yep.
Which Damon is not exactly the good one, but at least he owns what he did.
I'm all about the bad boys. But it's like I told you how Elijah is in the Sister series.
Mhm.
It's like he seems like the good, righteous brother compared to Klaus. But him and Stefan and Damon, they have a parallel. There's the good brother who's really kind of the bad one, and the bad brother who's really kind of the good one.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like just because they're not afraid to wear the bad boy hat doesn't mean they're the bad one.
Yep, that's true.
Yes. I don't want to.
No, it smells like strawberry.
Well, that's wonderful, but I'm on a live stream. Thank you. My mother let him get a small box of like fruit roll-ups, so he's just discovering those because usually we keep the all-natural fruit snacks. So.
And let's see. What is your favorite supernatural power?
Probably compulsion. I like compulsion. I like being able to tell people you never remember, you won't remember this, and this is what happened, and you know.
Yeah, compulsion. That's true.
I mean, there's a lot of them, but the other one I would say is it's another kind of compulsion, but there's siren abilities, but you haven't gotten there yet. That's in the last season.
Oh, okay.
But as those who know me know, I like to sing, and it would work very well because they keep that in the mythos, like the voice being the bewitcher.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool. What question are we on?
We're on what is your favorite supernatural power?
Okay,
Which,
which one?
for me, it would probably be... I didn't prepare for this question. Sorry, guys.
And you're only in season 4. There's so much shit that comes up in the next 4 seasons that you don't have a clue yet.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like I did kind of like the telepathy that he was able to use, but that Damon uses.
The Damon uses in that one episode in season one
but
that
that's-
he never use again.
Yeah, I was kind of going for the telepathy, and then I realized, great, it happens one time, and that's all it does.
Yeah.
It's like
The show was still building upon itself then, and you could tell they were trying things out to see what worked and what didn't. The other one that I like that goes in that Damon does a lot is the dream walking.
yeah, the dream walking.
Yeah, I like the dream walking because you can get inside people's head, and sometimes you can influence their thoughts and stuff. But it's like Damon has a really sweet scene. I think it's in season 2, maybe no, because Elena was still human, so it's season 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And there's a vampire who's dying of a werewolf bite, and she's delirious, so he goes into her head while she's unconscious, and he creates this place she had told him about while she was awake. Somebody else is on, I think.
To what?
Okay.
All this talk about vampires, I need to convince you to play Vampire the Masquerade. You know, when I was in high school, I did.
The video game, or
No, the live action role playing where you go around.
Because there are a couple of video games out there, and he's talking about the video game, the PC game.
But it was a live action thing.
I want to do the LARP. I want to do the LARPing thing.
Oh, I had a lot of fun with that in high school.
Oh,
I really did.
well, it was based off of the Anne Rice stuff, is where it first came from and got inspired by. So it's like that is completely my thing, completely.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, I'm going to ask you just a random question in the middle here. Who is your favorite fictional movie or TV vampire? Well, obviously fictional, but your favorite movie or TV vampire ever?
It's predominantly a tabletop RPG. Yeah.
I'll do either. I'll do that. I'll do the Dungeons and Dragons tabletop thing, or I'll do the LARP. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Give me vampires. Invite them in. While he's answering that, while he's typing that, why don't you read the next question?
Okay. Which character would you be?
You go ahead. I'll give you this one.
Okay. Well, if I was going to pick a character to be, it would probably be Caroline.
That's my answer too.
Yeah.
Caroline is the most badass vampire. I love. She takes control. She can be feminine. She can be vulnerable. But don't fuck
Like,
with
don't
her.
screw with her.
Yes.
Like, don't.
Don't screw with
Never
her or
screw with
her friends. She will fuck you up. And she reaches through to Klaus. I mean, crying out loud.
And who can reach Klaus? You know what I mean?
Caroline and Camille, that's it. You won't
Yeah.
meet Camille unless you watch the originals, so.
Oh, well, I probably will watch the originals after I'm done watching all of it.
Yeah, so Caroline for both of us. We great minds think alike.
Yeah,
This keeps slipping. I can't tell if it's because of the thing I have it sitting on.
it is, I think.
Okay.
So the next question was, have you read the book series? Well, I just started reading the book series, and I got through the first book. And I've noted some differences, like quite a few differences.
Like it's all but in name only.
Yeah.
Like the names of the characters, the fact that there's a love triangle involving 2 vampire brothers and a human girl, the fact that there's a girl named Bonnie that's a witch, and the fact that there's a guy named, well, you haven't gotten to Klaus yet, but Catherine and Klaus, who are 2 baddies who are vampires. And
Yeah.
Tyler is a werewolf.
And Tyler's a werewolf.
That's it. That's all you get. And you don't even know Tyler's a werewolf yet in the book. You
Oh,
don't.
in the book, no, I
Yeah.
don't. I was like, in the show, I remember seeing
A few times by now.
that. Exactly.
We're 4 seasons in, yeah.
Yep.
He transformed for the first time in season 2, I think, so.
Mhm.
I've read up to book 7. I started reading the books in middle school. That's why I was so fascinated when the new one came out. The TV series was coming out. And
Oh, he made another comment.
Okay.
I'll tell you what it says. Talk to me about Vampire the Masquerade. Next chance you get, I think you'd enjoy it. And I'll get back to on favorite vamp. I'll need to think.
think away. In order to talk about that, we kind of have to actually Skype though. Fair enough? I gotta give him a little help because I just had my first Skype conversation with him in like 2 or more years, like last week. So it's like, I'm afraid it's gonna be 2 more years.
I don't think he's gonna make you wait 2 more years.
You'd be surprised. He's a busy guy. I'm good at the Facebook chatting that's like this, but you know. Yeah, but I've read the first 7 books, and after book 6, it turns out that they fired Lisa Jane Smith, who was the author of the original books. They had commissioned her to write these books, so she didn't own the rights to the characters of the story. And they hired a ghostwriter to write the rest. The 7th book sucks ass. And the fact that I had trouble getting from between book 4 and book 5 to begin with, which she wrote, because there was a 20-year gap between books. So it went from, there's a reason it's called Vampire Diaries. Everybody writes in their diaries. But all of a sudden she's got a digital journal and she's like talking into a pen and all kinds of stuff like that because she lost her diary.
Yeah.
But it's a good, you know, they're using smartphones. And I'm like, you realize they graduated high school in 92 in the 3rd book? This is 7 months later? You know, it's kind of irritated me a little bit, but I still really liked what they did with the story. They took it in so many different directions after that. It was just, the ghostwriter sucked. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, there should be 2 or 3 more questions.
Who is your crush on the show? Well, if you can imagine, I wonder what she and I would say to that. Damon!
Damon. Klaus. Elijah. Enzo, a little bit. I don't care for the character of Enzo, but Michael Malarkey is adorable. Is anybody else I'm missing? I kind of got a little bit of a crush on Cole in the originals, though. You know, when he had another year or 2 to mature as, you know, him, he, like, kind of filled out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And as you will see by the end of the series, Matt fills out a little bit, too. And Rick. Alaric.
Oh, Alaric.
It's like, so basically the entire male cast with the exception of Tyler and Tyler, Jeremy, and Stefan. That's it. Just, nah, I don't care about them.
Let's see.
What question are we on?
You're on, who is your crush on the show? And then what was your first initial thought on the show? My first initial thought was, what books? Because I didn't know anything about the books.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I realized that it had said
Based on the book.
based on books. So then I was like, oh. And at the time I was out in Idaho, and I said, well, I'll give it a try on the show. But I never really got to the books. And then I did a lot of moving around. I've moved across the country a couple times.
Mm. And now thanks to Libby and my generous taking out of a book for you from the library,
Yeah.
she gets to read the books.
Yep.
My initial thought, well, like I said, I saw the pilot when it aired. My first reaction to that was, Elena's not supposed to be a brunette. She's supposed to have blonde hair and blue eyes. She's not supposed to have a slightly younger brother named Jeremy. She's supposed to have a 4-year-old sister named Maggie. What, is it Margaret? It's Margaret, right?
It's Margaret.
Yeah. And on top of that, well, Bonnie's not supposed to be black. She's supposed to be an Irish, like, druid, you know, product.
Mm-hmm.
These were initial reactions, not like condemning the show for these specific things. The one I started to condemn with was, okay, whoever's playing Stefan should be playing Damon, and whoever's playing Damon should be playing Stefan. Because, you know, in my head, having read the book for over 20 years, it was like, Stefan should, I mean, the guy playing Stefan is like, he's more square-jawed, he's more like Greek-type looking, you know, and as hot as Ian Zaralder is, he's not cut the same way. Like,
No.
he has some lean-eye features, but his face just isn't quite as strong. It's more classically pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, take that, reverse it.
Mm.
But, of course, now I'm in love, so, you
Yeah.
know.
And who knows if you would have loved Stefan as much if...
Exactly. Or Damon, for that matter.
Or Damon as much for...
See, I grew up like Rutger Hauer, Damon, because, you know, I was in love with Rutger Hauer when he was still actually young and handsome. Well, objectively handsome. Objectively handsome. I've looked back at some of those movies and I'm like, maybe to some people, maybe not, you know. My thoughts have changed over the years.
Mm.
So, how many questions left? One more? It should be only like one more.
Yeah, there is only one more.
Okay.
Who is your favorite villain on the show?
Well, you only know a couple so far, like
And-
3 or 4. So
Yeah, I only know a couple.
I mean,
So-
there are a lot of like little bit villains that you've met already, but like the black witch guy with his son, he was kind of a villain, but he's a lesser villain. And
Kind of
people
like
that.
the guy who was teaching Bonnie to.
Oh,
Yeah,
Professor
something.
Douchebag, yeah.
Yeah, Professor. Professor.
Atticus Shane, yeah.
Yeah.
Atticus Shane. Yeah, she hasn't realized the full extent of the why he's Professor Douchebag. I mean, she's seen it, she knows, but
I know, but
she
it's-
needs to watch the next episode we're on.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm. I think the episode we just watched pretty much summed it up for you, but
Yeah.
you still need to watch the next episode. But the next episode does make him completely tragic, if you're bad for him. But, you know.
Mhm.
So, favorite villain that you know of, that you have? I'll bet you it starts with a K.
I bet you
there
it
are
does.
2 of them, so I'll bet you it starts with a K.
Well, Klaus.
Yeah.
Because Klaus is just. He makes no apologies for what he does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he
At
just.
least not until he's the hero of his own series.
Right, but.
And then he still won't apologize for doing bad if he thinks it's what had to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why we love Damon. He's the same way.
Yeah.
Because he says this to Klaus like 2 episodes ago. He said, if you're going to be bad with a purpose. Otherwise, you're not worth forgiving. You know?
Yep.
So you like Klaus the best?
I did.
See, for me, now that I've watched the whole of the originals, and he's like a hero, anti-hero to me. You know? So
Mhm.
yes, he was the best like villain in the Vampire Diaries. But if I'm looking at the whole and accepting Klaus for everything he became, I'd have to say, oh, there's so many. There are so many. Maybe Kai. You haven't met Kai yet. I'll just have to leave it at that. You remember how I told you that Catherine is the villain I hate to hate? Like, I really didn't like it when they brought her back for the final episode.
Mhm.
Kai is the one you kind of love to hate. Because he's got the charisma.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a complete other sociopath.
How nice.
Yeah. But he does it in that charming way that's kind of like, it draws you in.
Yeah.
But
And
you still hate him full time.
okay, and Andy says, to answer your question, I would have to say my favorite vampire at this moment in time would have to be Cassidy from Preacher, and I'm sure you don't know that one.
No, I don't. You've been telling me to watch that. I haven't gotten around to it. I don't have access to it right now. I don't think it's on American Netflix, so I'll
No,
have to look.
I don't think so, but
Yeah.
they're always adding and deleting things, so
Yeah.
we'll have to keep our eye out for it.
I very much doubt it, but you've read the comic books as far as I understand. Are there any vampires or vampire-like creatures in the Constantine series? Like, not the TV show. I obviously watched that, but, you know. Was that the last question?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the little tag out of the way and loosened ourselves up here. So anything anybody else wants to say, and it looks like Andy's still the only one here right now, I think. Does it say 2 watching still?
Yep.
Yep, so.
And since we're ultimately watching ourselves, we are.
Yeah, we're one of the 2. We're half of the whole thing. Yeah. Just open it up on my phone. We'll have 3 people watching. Oh, where is Josh? I thought he was going to come on. Well, maybe he'll come on in a little bit. So, I was telling you a little bit about Hannibal, because you watched that little Murder Husbands video with me.
Yes. There's the king of vampires in Hellblazer.
Okay, that's cool. The Hellblazer comics are Constantine. It's a certain arc, I think.
Oh, okay.
You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. You know about the comics and I don't, so. But yeah. Do you have favorite vampires? I mean, just in general, not like Damon and Caroline and all that, but you know, all over the map.
Not really, because I didn't really get into watching vampire stuff until more recently.
Okay.
So.
Is it because of me you've been watching them, or is it just?
Well, not because of you. You told me that I should watch the show, and then I was like, yeah, I have to watch the show because it's good. Yeah.
Although it took you until, like I said, you have to watch until the first episode of season 2. Well, I said the last episode of season 1, but it turns out I was just had my chronological was wrong a little bit. So it was like the next episode, the first episode of season 2. You have to watch this far. If you hate it, if you're not feeling it, fine. But you have to watch this point because this. You know how new series are. They're making themselves in the first series. They haven't figured it all out yet.
Mhm.
They're building characters. That stuff can be more boring. So it's hard to get through the first season. I still don't go back to that one. I just go, okay, Elena's a vampire. Let's start there.
Which is like season 4.
Yeah. Or sometimes I'll go back to when Stefan is in Chicago with Klaus.
Mhm.
Because I like that stuff too.
Yeah.
Everybody's, well, not everybody. Andy's like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. We could talk a little bit, maybe. Well, we could talk about things like Hellraiser or Stephen King or the opera or anything particularly fancy. I'm sorry, I'm mumbling. I'm brainstorming out loud.
Well, I did see a little bit of some of your Phantom of the Opera stuff earlier today. I hadn't seen all of them like that before. I mean, I know I watched stuff a long time ago with you when, like, way back when we were in Washington, but, you know, I can't relate for breakfast yesterday, so don't ask me to remember 8 years ago. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, don't brainstorm anything with her. Her brain does not have the capability. She can add to it. She can't think it up herself half the time. I love you.
It's okay. I still love you, even though you just ultimately insulted me. I love you.
You know, if I didn't insult you.
Yeah, that's true. I'd think you hate me, especially when your husband doesn't insult me. I'm like, why are you not insulting me? What's wrong with
You hate me. What did I do wrong?
you?
You're so lovingly abusive. What's wrong? So you saw a little bit of the Family Opera stuff. It was mostly like I showed her a scene from this version or that version or trailers. That's what it was. So you'd already seen the movie with Jared Butler.
Mm-hmm.
You'd seen some of the Ramin Karimloo concert with me.
Which that's the one I like the most.
Yeah. And the rest I think were all trailers. I don't think you've actually seen any of the others.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I'm sure I watched all of them at some point when you were living with us for that short time in Washington, but...
Yeah, but there's so much other stuff going on. What was on TV was the least of our...
There was a lot of Rent going on.
Yeah.
There was a lot of seasons of Love in the Air.
You played that thing like 3 times a week.
Yeah, well, you know how I am when I get a new DVD. If it's something like, especially a musical, it doesn't stop playing. Like, between Vinny and me, we've burned out our Shrek DVD. Our Shrek the musical DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I have to watch it on Netflix now. Because my favorite parts are burned out. Oh, is there another comment there? Or was that the last one he posted earlier?
There is the king... that's what he said, said before.
Fair enough. You can give us a topic. You can make a comment. We'll run with it. I mean, we tried to use that to loosen us up, but... kind of hoping Josh would also be here. I mean, I love it when you're here. I want you here. But, it's a little easier when there's somebody else around who knows you that can push you. You know, Josh knows me. He knew me through my little Les Mis infatuation, and he saw me at the roots of my Family Opera infatuation, and the tail end of my Wizard of Oz obsession. Like, I still just love it, but I'm not obsessed the way I was in middle school, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had something to fan the flames in middle school, because I was just starting to write fan fiction, but I was cooling down my Wizard of Oz obsession, and then the Wizard of Oz in concert heard.
Oh.
With Jewel as Dorothy, Nathan Lane is the Cowardly Lion, Jackson Brown is the Scarecrow, Roger Daltrey is the Tin Man, Natalie Cole is the Good Witch, Glinda, and Deborah Winger is the Wicked Witch of the West, Joel Grey is the Wizard. It was an all-star.
How do you keep this much information in your brain?
I watched it a bazillion times.
Okay.
I didn't know who the hell Roger Daltrey or Jackson Brown were.
But
You know?
this is just proof that repetition works.
Yes. Yeah. But I was like, Mom, who is that? Or my dad, who is that? It's like, oh, well, he was a singer on Who, you know? Like, that's the Tommy guy right there. You remember when we watched Tommy? Vaguely, I thought it sucked. Well, that's him. You know, that type of thing. And it's like Jackson Brown, I'm like, well, he's like, oh, he's like a folk singer. I'm like, well, what does he sing? And they can never tell me. I'm like, did they sing Sweet Caroline? No, that's something else. But it's like, I can't even remember what single song they could think of, because they couldn't think of anything he did. They just knew he was a singer, you know? Nathan Lane, of course, I knew because The Lion King.
Mhm.
It's like, oh my God, I will find a clip for you. You've got to see him singing If I Only Had the Nerve. Oh my God, he's hilarious. He is absolutely hilarious. Oh, you're awfully quiet on the other side of the pond. Still haven't finished watching Tin Man.
Oh, you haven't?
I've been slogging through that this week. I need to put my review up for February, and still haven't finished watching it again. I feel like I'm gonna have to sit down and watch it from scratch. Well, part of my problem is it's so convoluted. Okay, let me try and express this. Maybe I'll use this as my Tin Man review. It's the Wizard of Oz. Okay, we got Dorothy living in Kansas, but we also cut to the OZ, otherwise the Outer Zone, Oz. And the sorceress Azkadelia, aka the Wicked Witch of the West, is looking for an emerald, which she needs to use at the time of the double eclipse, because the Outer Zone has 2 suns. So it's kind of like the Dark Crystal, really. Because there's an eclipse, there's more than one sun, there's a jewel, And, I haven't even gotten into all the specific reasons she needs it, because a lot of that condenses in the very last part of it. But she needs to gain more power. She needs to solidify herself. She's actually possessed by an evil witch, and that's why she's the way she is. DG is a princess of Oz, but so is Azkadelia because it's her sister, And it's like it's so convoluted. It's like I'm getting a headache just trying to think of how to express all these things without boring people and saying it as quickly as possible, but I can't. But it's still the classic Oz story. She gets carried away to Oz in a cyclone. She meets the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion. She goes to see the wizard. I don't think there's a Glinda. I think the Glinda equivalent is supposed to be Lavender Eyes, her mother. And I don't remember if Lavender Eyes is an actual name. I think she's credited on IMDb as Lavender Eyes. Because she's just not going to give a name. Her father is Ohama, which is, Ahama, which is Omaha, spelled backwards. Because he's from Nebraska, and they just did that as a little pat, like, hey, the wizard was from there, remember? He moves around in a flying, a hot air balloon. The Tin Men, the titular Tin Men, are Central City cops. And the titular character Tin Man, Wyatt Kane, is an ex-Tin Man who's out for revenge on the guy he thinks killed his son and wife after he was discovered to be a rebel against Azkadelia. So it's supposed to be his story, and yes, he has a story arc. He has a character arc. He does all those things. But it's the Wizard of Oz. It should be Dorothy's story. And it is also her story. In fact, with such bad acting as Zooey Deschanel, it's kind of hard to miss anything other than her story. It's like the actor playing Wyatt Kane is so one of the most sedate, cool, fine actors in the whole thing that it's like he's actually acting. He's subtle. It's easy to miss. He's subtle.
Minnie, why are you so close to the TV?
Back off, kiddo. I think he's
top.
trying not to blare it because he doesn't want me yelling at me. At him.
Okay, well.
Still the last comment he did.
Well, he's not here to carry the review.
I
We
know,
are.
I know. What was that?
What?
My phone just did something weird when I went to take a sip. Is that going to happen again? No, I didn't see it happen over there, but the camera did something weird.
Takes like 3 seconds. There, see? You did
Well, we've got more lag than we did.
it.
It's weird. We've got even more lag. Yay. I guess YouTube's probably just getting busier.
Yeah.
That's my guess. So, you like the Ramin Karimloo family opera?
Yes, I did.
At least the bits that you've seen.
Yep.
I know you watched Love Never Dies with me.
I did.
Where did you stand on that one?
I
know it was a while ago, but...
It was a while ago. The thing I didn't like was when you kept playing it in German, because I didn't understand it.
Oh, when I was trying to play The Beauty Underneath?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it was just the one song, though.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean...
No, but when we lived in Washington, you used to play your DVD of the German.
Oh no, that's not Love Never Dies. That's Dance the Vampire.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Love Never Dies is the Phantom of the Opera sequel.
Okay. I'm just
Dance the
confused.
Yeah, Dance the Vampire is Dance of the Vampires.
Mhm.
And that I had the Broadway boot and I had the German boot. So yeah, I liked the German bootleg. It was way better than the piece of crap that was comparing piece of crap that they put on Broadway. And I saw that live with Michael Crawford, so tells you my opinion of that show.
Mm.
It's, when you take a show that's basically the Phantom of the Opera with fangs, and you cast the original Phantom in it, and he goes, I do not want to be cast, slated as doing the Phantom of the Opera with fangs, and he forces more comedy into it, it turns into a walking disaster.
Okay.
It's based on a movie that came out in the 70s that Roman Polanski directed and starred in with Sharon Tate before they got married. And it's practically a silent movie. Like, there's very little dialogue, and it's slow. But it's like this slapstick comedy that parodies all the Hammer horror movies that were coming out at the time. And then Jim Steinman got into the making of that musical with Roman Polanski, and they turned it into they instead of making it the Vampire Slayers story, because the original movie was called The Fearless Vampire Killers, they made it about the Count's quote-unquote victim, and how it was about, apparently, I did understand the German version because there's no subtitles, but apparently the story is way different than it is in the American, because all the same basic elements happen, but she is a character that is drawn to the dark side. It is her story. Her and the vampire, the Count, actually might have a genuine emotion towards each other, and it's like, but none of that is conveyed in the American one. None of it. It's right back to the slapstick. It's getting neck raped. It's it's a mess. It's a hot mess. Excuse me. So yeah, I can understand that you weren't so into me playing something in German constantly, and I apologize for that.
I don't care. I lived.
Yeah. We were lucky we survived each other, so at least at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. We love each other now, but we've had our issues.
Yeah. I think we loved each other then. We were just both going through such dramatic things that there was no way anything was gonna come out healthy.
No, I know.
So.
And I'm finally getting to the point where I'm not as worried about that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're finally healthy again. And I'll tell you what, I didn't think it would happen.
You didn't?
I did not think it would happen. I was like, if I never see that woman again, I can die happy. And then she did come back, and slowly things changed, and here we are.
Yeah, slowly I came back. I remember speaking to you one day at Graham's, but I was like, I'm not going to push her, but I want her to know that I'm not
We both
totally
got,
awful.
yeah, we both got into better places,
Yeah.
mentally and emotionally, and we're better now.
Yes.
So we've had to put up with a lot of stuff with each other. Oh man. So, what else can we talk about? This is like a half-hour show. Come on. Are you at all curious about the Hannibal TV show? Is there anything you want to ask me about that? Or Once Upon a Time, since I showed you a scene from that. Just any of that stuff. We can just talk.
All right. Well, Once Upon a Time I haven't started yet because I'm finding that my memory doesn't allow me to track more than a couple things at once.
Somebody is here.
Hannibal. It says, ahem, Hannibal.
Well, I can actually talk about that. Hannibal. All right, Andy, what do you want to talk about? She has not seen it. You've seen movies.
Yes.
You've seen Hannibal Lecter movies. I don't know how many of them you've seen.
I think only the first two.
So, Hannibal and Silence.
Yes.
Okay. You haven't seen Red Dragon?
No.
Oh, you're missing a good movie. Ray Fiennes plays like the, should I say villain? Yeah, he's kind of the antagonist. He is a villain, but it's just like, I prefer to call a character like that the antagonist. I can show you all of Andy's reviews of them. Because he did all the movies except for the original Manhunter with Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're awesome. They're awesome reviews. and he actually cooks at the beginning of the reviews. Like, yeah, he's actually, there's a vignette of him preparing dishes,
Oh,
and there are things Hannibal would have or did cook, and they're inspired by the Hannibal TV show, I think. So,
oh,
yeah,
cool.
I might have a detail or two there a little wrong, but basically that's it.
Mm.
Oh, so have you? I wonder if you've decided what you're gonna cook when you finally review the series. You'll have to let me know that. Yeah. So the TV series is very, 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 very different from the movies you've seen.
Okay.
Mainly because they couldn't even buy the rights to the characters in Silence of the Lambs.
Mhm.
You know, they could buy the other ones, but because I think they were made by different companies. I gotta be wrong about that. I don't even know anymore. He's gotta help me clarify this shit. I didn't do the research. He did. It's like I know more about because of his reviews than I do from all the behind the scenes shit I've watched or looked up online. You know,
Mhm.
I just don't retain that much of it. But Will Graham, who's the Edward Norton main character in Red Dragon, which you just said you haven't seen,
Mhm.
he's a profiler. Oh,
I've bookmarked several recipes for the videos containing liver, heart, brain, and even testicle.
whew! Yay!
Eh.
Why did it look like he posted another thing up there? It's like something else popped up while you were reading. That's weird. Just keep an eye out and see if another one pops up because it looks like something. It was weird. So, he's a profiler. He's very empathic. He gets too close. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. You'd have to explain it honestly, because I could tell you, but I don't think I could explain it correctly. He gets too deep into the heads of the serial killers he chases. You know, it's like he can think what they thought and feel what they felt, and
Mhm.
it affects him very strongly. And in the first episode of the TV show, Lawrence Fishburne is in it, by the way.
Oh.
He plays Jack Crawford, who's the lead in the FBI,
Okay.
the director of the FBI. And they ask Hannibal Lecter, the psychiatrist, to help them in cases. Or, well, not to help them in cases, actually. That comes a little bit later. Because Will Graham has some form of mental issues, basically, because of his pure empathy, they want Hannibal to assess him, I think, is how it goes. It's been a while since I watched season 1. I mean, probably not as long as it's been since you watched, but it's been a while.
Mhm.
And that's how things start. Will actually starts as a patient of Hannibal's, and they start forming a bond over that.
Okay.
And, you know, he has no idea that Hannibal is actually the Chesapeake Ripper, one of the people they're hunting through the course of the series,
Yeah.
at least until the end of season 1. And
How many seasons are there?
there were 3.
Okay.
We are still holding on to a what's the phrase? Holding on to a wish and a prayer for season 4 eventually. But as time goes on, it looks further and further, more and more unlikely to happen.
Oh, okay. Will Graham has true empathy, being able to identify with anyone, including psychopathic killers.
Yes.
Will Graham was never Hannibal's patient. They just had conversations.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. But I do remember him being approached by Crawford, like, "Hey, can we eye this guy?" You know. So he might not have been a patient, but he was still assessing him on some level. I remember that because later on, after Will gets encephalitis,
Okay.
yeah, and he starts having hallucinations and losing time and suffering all kinds of things, and you know, Hannibal, being manipulative little minx that he is, doesn't fill anybody in on this because he wants to play with it and see what can happen.
Mhm.
And when Jack finds out Hannibal was suspecting that something was wrong and never told him, he gets really pissed. So, yeah, you were right about the patient thing, and I think I tried to correct that, but, you know. I love the TV show so much. They change around the genders of some of the characters, like, well, you haven't seen Red Dragon, so you don't know that, Philip Seymour Hoffman played a reporter called Freddie Lowndes in that. Freddie Lowndes is a reporter, yeah, for like a gossip magazine type thing.
Oh, okay.
And in the TV series, it is Frederica Lounds, or something like it's Freddie Lounds, but it's a chick.
Okay.
And Alana Bloom, who's a member of the FBI, she was Alan Bloom in the books, who is mentioned in Silence of the Lambs. He's even mentioned in the movie Silence of the Lambs, but somewhat more briefly. I don't remember if he actually had a scene in the final cut, but I know there was a deleted scene, at the very least, with Alan Bloom. So, they did stuff like that. Did you watch the Hobbit movies? Like the new ones? The actual Hobbit trilogy?
No.
Okay. Well, it's just there's a character called Francis Dollarhide, who's played by Ray Fiennes in Red Dragon, but he's played by Armitage. Do you remember the guy's full name? Armitage's full name, Andy, who plays him in the TV series. So it was an interesting link, which I wouldn't have known if I didn't listen to the commentaries, which you still have to do.
Quick question. Favorite Jack Crawford?
Well, there's only 2 or 3. Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah, I love Lawrence Fishburne. I don't know if you remember Jack Crawford in the original Silence of the Lambs, but he was the one who gave Starling the assignment to go talk to Hannibal Lecter.
Okay.
He's the director of the FBI. He's the one who called her into his office and said, I want you to go deal with this, subject for us and get the interview done.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the one that was talking to her through the whole movie, telling her, where they were in the case. Yeah, and all the other stuff. I'm going to have, tomorrow, or maybe tonight, I'm going to make sure she watches all your Hannibal reviews that you did.
Yes. We'll get off YouTube Live eventually, and we'll we'll go to watch your reviews, Andy.
Yeah.
I like your reviews.
You haven't seen too many of them full yet, unfortunately.
No, I haven't, but I
have
have
a
liked
tendency to
what
skip
I saw.
around.
She confuses me. Oh, watch this one. Oh no, now watch this one. Well.
Yeah, I get these. Yeah, I swear to God, I'm diagnosed ADHD.
Yeah.
See, for me, reviews, at least once I've seen them once, they're really good for background noise.
Mhm.
But I've been binging a lot of his this week. I mean, there's still background noise, but it's actually been like right in front of me most of the time. He did post something else, or somebody did. So.
Yep. No love for Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel was a little bit more. Him and Lawrence Fishburne are neck and neck. He played Jack in Red Dragon.
Okay.
I'd forgotten about him, to be honest.
Mm.
Not because he's forgettable. He's damn good, and he's good in that role. But for me, I think it's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to me it seems like Harvey's a little bit more obvious in how he's trying to push Will around and guide him to do what he wants. And Lawrence Fishburne is not subtle, but he will find a way to tap dance just a little bit around that minefield. Mm-hmm. Not much. He's about that much further away from it, but it's there. And Lawrence Fishburne, it's like he just go off. There's a good scene, I want to say it's in the pilot, where something happens, it might not be in the pilot, and Will, walks into, a men's bathroom, to get some air or something. Mm-hmm. And it looks like the bathroom from The Shining, the Stanley Kubrick movie. And they actually talk about that in the commentary. And Will comes in, and he's trying to talk, Jack comes in, and he's trying to talk to Will. And he's in the middle of a sentence, and a guy comes in to use the bathroom, and he's like, use the ladies' room! And the guy's like, whoa! And he turns around and almost just walks out.
And he says Harvey Keitel played it more like a beat cop than a criminal profiler.
This is true. This is true, too. He feels more like, say, he feels a little bit more like Cragen in SVU to me.
Oh, okay.
They both get their hands dirty, but... I mean that's probably a bad parallel, but I don't watch a lot of cop stuff, honestly. In spite of all the psychological thrillers I love to watch,
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch that much cop stuff. It's like SVU and Hannibal. It's kind of it. It's like you don't read the same ones I do, so it's like I can't think of something from the Cross books or the Boxer books. That's a good example. Mm-hmm. Somebody too high enough up to still feel like a beat cop or anything like Plus, none of them are beat cops; they're detectives.
Yeah. I was like, they're not beat cops.
Exactly.
That's why they don't act like
Yeah. And including in most mystery novels, they're not beat cops. They're usually, I mean, they might be cops and not detectives, but they're usually in a homicide.
Yeah.
So, what are the differences you really like between Mads and Anthony? That's what I want to know. Mads Mikkelsen, who played Hannibal Lecter in the TV series, versus Anthony Hopkins. Brian Cox is like such a non-character that we don't even have to bring him up. Because he, in Manhunter, Hannibal Lecter plays the role he was written to play. There's no particular relish in it. He's just your, yeah, I'm here. I kill people. I'm psycho. So what?
Yeah.
I'm going to toy with you while you're here. But he doesn't permeate the rest of the story. You know, he exists as a tool.
So, if fourth season ever is made, who would you say should play Clarice Starling?
Ooh, that's a hard question. Damn! Especially since I don't know too many younger actresses anymore. Nina would do a good job, actually.
Who?
Nina
Nina.
Dobrev.
Oh, yeah, she would.
She's the lead actress in the first 6 seasons of the Vampire Diaries. Nina Dobrev. She would do a good job. I haven't seen her in too many other roles though. It's like I've seen her play Elena, and I've seen her play the mean girl in slasher. Not a spoof, but a satire.
Okay.
Yeah. So she kind of like played Caroline.
Oh.
Kind of a little bit, you know, like first season Caroline.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Well, we can completely wipe out people like Chloe Grace Moretz. Who is out there? I don't know the younger actors and actresses that much. It's like I'm still holding on tight to the old guard, like people like Morgan Freeman, you know? It's like I don't care about these younger actors. I don't think they're any good. For the most part. For the most part. Some of them are good, but I don't remember most of their names, so they're not that good, you know?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think Emma Watson has what it takes at all. She's one of the other younger ones I know. You know, I have to look her up real quick. Hang on. I want to get her name right, because she has a more complicated name. Something else popped up just now.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman would be fantastic as Clarice.
Very funny, smartass.
What?
You want to talk about if they were going to gender switch again? Get Glenn Close to be the Jack Crawford. There you go. Goodbye. Go watch.
I was.
No, go. What should tell you, Vinny?
Harry Potter. And
Vinny, go.
Goblet of Fire. Oh, that's not the right one, is it? That's not the first one he shoots in. Shoot, that's not the one I want to look up. And the
Sorcerer's Stone.
no. The first one Luna Lovegood is in.
Oh,
I want to say she was in not Order of the Phoenix.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Half-Blood Prince.
Half-Blood Prince. Okay.
Still only gonna show me Sorcerer's Stone? Come on. I just want to look up her name real quick. I haven't seen her as anything other than Luna Lovegood, okay? So I have no idea what she would be like.
I didn't
honestly.
even know who she was till she was on Dancing with the Stars. And the guys
Yeah,
watched that, and I was like, oh, she is from Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an issue, you know, when nobody really... Why are you not showing me a cast list?
Ivana Lynch.
Thank you! God, I couldn't find it. My phone was being a bitch.
I was like, wait, he posted.
Thank you! I appreciate that. Yeah, but it's like, it would be a very different take on the character, but I think that would be a good way to do it, you know? Like, take something that's not Jodie Foster, that's not, oh God, I hate when I forget her name and I love her. Julianne Moore.
Okay.
Julianne Moore. I hate drawing blanks like that. I was obsessed with Julianne Moore for a couple of years when that came out, when Hannibal came out, you know? It was like, ooh, let's watch the Jurassic Park 2. Let's watch it, you know? It's like I should damn well know her fucking name. But, you know, take it in a different direction. Do something else with it. Because they had a character that was similar to Clarice Starling in the series already. She wasn't the same character. She was an original character that Hannibal Lecter actually. She wasn't an intern of Jack Crawford's, but I don't know I can't remember all the correct phrasing. So I'm going to say like an intern, you know, a subject like Clarice was to Jack Crawford. Okay? So she was like, you know, a subversive of Jack Crawford's who wanted to do more research on the Chesapeake Killer, and she got too close. Basically, she went to interview Hannibal Lecter about something, and she had like the right pieces, so he kidnapped her. But because he wanted to get under Jack Crawford's skin, he held her captive for a really long time, like what was it, years? And he kept her like captive in a basement and was brainwashing her and stuff. So when he finally wanted to screw with Crawford, he let her out because she couldn't identify him and she couldn't remember, and you know she was all messed up. And he did a lot of that with Clarice Starling in the books, because in the end of the book, Hannibal, she don't cut off his wrist and he gets away. That's not what happens. He brainwashes her, and they end up running away together. And, you know, they get to be a loving, murderous couple together. Not murderous. I mean, it actually says that there has been no death or eating of meat in years. Because there's a prologue that takes place a few years later. It's something like Buenos Aires or something like that. I don't remember where it was. I do remember that Barney was on vacation there, happened to see them at the opera, and basically did the one smart thing somebody could ever do when they see Hannibal Lecter. I'm going to get the fuck out of here on the next plane. Bye-bye. He absolutely hates that ending, by the way. He hates that. He thinks it completely destroys Clarice's character, period, of the sentence. Whereas I wrote a fan fiction that was an alternate ending to the movie Hannibal, where he did cut off, like, his thumb. And they still end up together, but not because of brainwashing.
Hannibal sucks her nipples, to be specific. It's
Yes,
the most bizarre thing I've ever read.
Yeah, she was literally like trying to nurse him. He has a sister, or had a sister, back in World War II. And if you look at the backstory that was eventually written. Hannibal Rising is a book that Thomas Harris was forced to write because they said if you don't write it, somebody else will. And we'll make a movie out of it. So he wrote it and he just shat it out, basically. But he had a sister. And part of his cannibalistic complex is because his sister was killed and eaten. And he started off punishing the people who did that to her by eating that. That's how he started. There's a lot more complicated story to it than that, but that's the most basic root of it. And when he started talking to Clarice in the asylum, he was projecting his sister onto her. And that's where the obsession came from. He was trying, in the book Hannibal, he was trying to resurrect his sister through Clarice Starling. But then, of course, they did the whole sucking the nipples thing and they become lovers, so that's a little complicated and gross. But, you know. Yeah. They still leave Paul Kremler's brain together, though, so that's like, yes! Because if you can only think of Ray Liotta as Paul Kremler, you're good. It's like, yes, I want to see that. I don't care how gratuitous it is. I want to see that because he's such an ass. Paul Kremler, by the way, if you read the original Silence of the Lambs, was a character in Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
He was brief, but he was there. If I remember correctly, he showed up when the senator's daughter was kidnapped. I think she met him in Frederica Benmo's apartment. I think she was looking at the victim's apartment, and he showed up and basically told her to get the fuck out, if I remember. It's been a long time since I listened to my book. Kathy Bates is an amazing reader, by the way. She did so well that actually in the book Rose Madder, Stephen King's Rose Madder, Rose becomes a audiobook reader. And they mention how the guy who hired her thinks the best audiobook ever made was Kathy Bates' narration of Silence of the Lambs. So it obviously made an impression on Stephen King as well, because he put it in his book.
Yep.
That's another book. I think it was downstairs, but it might not be. But you need to read that one. That one's very. I didn't like Lacey's story, but if you liked Lacey's story, I know you did. You will probably like Rose Madder.
Okay.
There's a lot of supernatural elements, but it starts off basically as a woman running away from her abusive husband,
Okay.
and it goes from there. It's all I can really say. It has to do with a magical painting. And like a Dark Tower connection in a way, not directly, but close enough to count. You know, anything that has an alternate universe in it, it's like Dark Tower.
Yep.
You're connected. Why does it look like something else was said? It might not have been, but my eyes keep playing tricks on me. They're going in and out of focus,
No,
so it makes it look like something else popped up.
No.
Okay. So, what did you think of my idea that if for some reason they gender swapped the Jack Crawford for like a remake or something, Glenn Close as like Jacqueline Crawford or something like that? Who would you want as a female Jack Crawford? I know we're talking about things you don't have a lot of knowledge in.
No,
If you could think of something, I'd be all for talking about it. You're not offering much right now.
No, I'm not. I'm really useful, I know.
Unfortunately, I don't have my messenger on this anymore. I deleted all my other apps so I could fit this app on here without eating my battery quite as much. Like
Which app?
The color by number one there, but I don't have my Facebook Messenger app on there anymore. All right, there we go. There's something.
To be honest, you said Kathy Bates. You can't get more badass than that.
This is true, but it would have to be young Kathy Bates, don't you think? I don't know if that's my dear, but Kathy Bates is like bigger than Dawn now, and I don't think size matters for the role, but it might be less intimidating. It might be more intimidating. It really depends on your point of view.
Mm.
Yeah, I love Kathy Bates. I watch her in American Horror Story.
She's had a long career.
She's had a very long career. I mean, it's like she got an Oscar out of one of her first major roles. I mean, that's power.
Yeah.
It was certainly her first headliner role.
Mm-hmm.
Did she also win? Did she win something for Dolores Claiborne, or was she just nominated?
I can't remember if she won or not. I
Yeah,
remember her being nominated, but I don't.
Yeah, and she won for Misery.
Not really. I don't think age has a factor, especially for the character of Crawford.
I have a question. What did you think of them including Bella in the TV show? Do you think that helped, hindered, wasn't any different? Bella is Jack Crawford's wife, and she's not really a presence in the books, but in Silence of the Lambs, one of the things that I guess you could say allows Clarice Starling to go off and start doing all these things for the Buffalo Bill case without getting as reprimanded as much. She still has to answer to people. She still gets scolded, and she's, all that stuff. But Jack Crawford is highly distracted because his wife is dying at that time. Mm-hmm. She's very, very sick and terminal. And she was a character in the TV series.
Oh, okay.
So, it is somebody that, Hannibal references a lot. I think after she dies, he even sends Jack Crawford a sympathy card. I can't remember if it was before or after his escape in Silence of the Lambs, but he sends Jack a sympathy card. Probably before, but I could no, because I can't remember. I want to say Bella died like the night he escaped or somewhere right around there, but I'm probably dead wrong. It's been so long since I've read the book or listened to it or any of that.
It gave Crawford a more personally connection outside of the FBI, of his FBI work, and of course, Fishburne had great chemistry with his then wife.
Yeah, that's right. Because, but what do you mean then? Are they divorced or something? Because the woman playing Bella Crawford was Fishburne's wife, real life wife.
Oh.
I'd forgotten about that. It was something I knew, but I had forgotten. What?
Can you help me spell with something?
What do you need help spelling?
What?
Live TV, folks. I think you put something else up there, but
How to spell big little planet?
Big Little Planet? Okay, get me a pen. Get me a pen, get me a marker, get me something, Winnie.
They divorced in 2016.
Oh, that's kind of sad. Yeah, they had amazing chemistry.
Vinny. Thank you. Thank you.
Here.
Take that from mommy.
Better than having to waste time on camera spelling it out for him. You are welcome. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I liked that. There's this whole thing in the TV show when she's going to talk to Hannibal about how she's dying of lung cancer and all this, and she's like, I'm not going to wither away and blah blah blah. She actually doses herself with, I think, morphine or something. Like she takes a lethal dose right before she goes into the office, and she starts dying. And he's sitting there, and he's sitting back. And in the show, Hannibal is an antagonist. He likes to poke and play, but he also considers these characters kind of sort of friends. Mm-hmm. And you can see him toying with that, like, do I want to fuck with Jack and let her die, or do I want to fuck with her and make her live, and do I want to, like all that? Mm-hmm. Like, and ultimately he decides to basically use Narcan and save her life. and when she wakes up in the hospital, he's there, and she smacks him in the face. I go, son of a bitch! It's a very interesting scene. I would love to show you the last episode in season 2. It's the best episode, like by far, for me. I know he likes that episode too, but I also know there's another one he likes a lot, which I also like a lot, but I wouldn't say it's my top favorite.
He literally flips a coin to decide to save her life.
Yes. Yes. I'd forgotten about the flip coin until you said it, but yes, he does. See, there are little details you forget about. Mm-hmm. So, this is riveting.
I know. I'm so interesting. Oh my goodness.
But at least we're actually talking about something that he can talk about with us.
That's true.
And you can hear about it. She's been reading James Patterson a little bit.
I have.
Uh-huh.
I'm very late getting to the party for things. Like, I like things from... I guess I'm at my ripe age of 42. I'm so old that I,
Speaking of late to the party, when are we going to watch the Beauty and the Beast TV series? The original one. From 89 to 91.
I don't want to talk about that. Or how old I was in 89 to 91. I'm old.
This lag really sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting worse and worse as time goes on.
It is. It's like
40 seconds right now.
Yeah.
I'm watching myself give her a hug right now.
Yeah.
Mom, I've been passing by you.
I know.
In my face.
It's getting pretty obnoxious. Go into the other room and watch your show.
By the way, to answer your earlier question, the difference between Mads and Anthony is Anthony was more extroverted. Everything Mads does is introverted.
Yeah, good point. That's an excellent point. Because it's like Anthony is just like, Anthony does the thing. He's in your face and I won't go so far.
What do you have?
Gummy.
You already had some of that.
I have a gummy.
You had something that counts as a gummy.
Which two?
The fruit thing counts as a gummy. I'm going to take care of that real quick. But I will go into that in a second. Get out of the room. You promised you would behave. Do you want some chips?
Yes.
This bag of chips is just for Vinny.
Yes.
But what he said is true, because Anthony Hopkins has that like almost vulgar thing,
Yeah.
and Mads is more very like that sit back and tilt your head at it and think, all kinds of crazy interesting. Okay, the smell instantly got me. I'm gonna have to make a little snack and chips for us. This instantly got me.
That's what I get. I lose 100 pounds. I come here and I eat everything bad, and I start gaining it back.
I have to. Sorry. I don't force you to eat it.
No, you just put it in front of a person who's like addicted to food who's gonna eat it.
And my mom yelled at me for that too.
Did she?
Yeah, she's always like, most people who have the surgery actually have families that would stop and eat the same diet. I said, you have the wrong daughter doing for that.
You got
I said, I love you, but you got the entirely wrong daughter. Your daughter likes her food a little too much for that.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom was a picky eater before. Somebody that didn't like casseroles, didn't like shepherd's pie, didn't like meatloaf, didn't eat vegetables. It's like, now you can't eat anything.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. I already do things like I don't cook a lot of vegetables in the house, especially peppers and cabbage, because the smell makes her sick. And I love stuffed cabbage and stuffed peppers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry. I'm not dumbing down my diet even more for you. I want everything to eat.
Do you want your tea?
Yes, please. It's time for liquid.
Yes. Wow, it's already been like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, hey, we made it longer than the last stream, just barely.
Yeah, just barely. What does that say?
I
can
can't
extol the virtues of eating. It says OFFAL.
Awful?
Awful, that's what I think, right?
Yeah, awful. Is awful the correct pronunciation? Awful, awful, one or the other. Is it O or off?
It's O.
Okay.
That's why.
No, I meant the pronunciation, awful or awful.
Oh, I don't know.
You'll have to tell us what that is. I hope you realize that. I've heard the term before, but I don't understand the context.
You pronounced it right the first time.
Okay, so it's off.
Got
Yay for me!
it.
10 points for Gryffindor. That's something we could talk as Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you read the books?
So long ago that I barely remember them.
But you've seen the movies.
I've seen the movies.
More recently?
No.
Okay, so that's still going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Here's a...
Oh, awful is internal organ.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's right. I remember now. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So it's like what I was talking about with you when I mentioned, like, the lobster. Sort of. Except, no, that doesn't quite count, because that's literally the digestive tract is what we were talking about. Like, have you had lobster?
Yeah.
The green stuff in lobster?
Yeah.
Yeah, most people don't eat that, because you're literally eating lobster shit, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But some people love it. They consider it the best part of the delicacy. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Do you want me to move this over here?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, take that away from me.
I got too many anyway.
Right.
It's like it smelled really good because I opened the bag perfectly fresh. I'm like, ooh. But apparently I'm not as hungry for it as I thought I'd be. Yeah. Okay, random question time. Who is your favorite character in Harry Potter? Book or movie? And if it's different, tell me.
Well, let's see. I did like Dumbledore a lot, though.
Oh, Dumbledore's great.
He's awesome. I just like him.
I liked him way better in the books. Way better.
Way better than
Way better in the books. I just wasn't that big on Michael. I like Michael Gambon, but I wasn't that big on him or who's the hell was the guy that played King Arthur in Camelot? Richard Harris. I remembered. It's like it's a miracle.
Yummy.
What are you doing, Vinny?
I think my character.
Vinny, why are you in there?
Vinny, I just gave you a snack. Get out of
I'm
it.
still hungry.
That's nice. You can wait a little. I think my favorite character might be Sirius. Definitely Sirius in the movie because I love Gary Oldman.
Mhm.
I'm crazy about Gary Oldman. And in the books, it's hard to tell. Probably Lupin, the werewolf guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I like Lupin in the books. Where do you stand on the character of Severus Snape? What's your opinion? You aren't one of those fangirls that were like, oh, Severus, he's so misunderstood. He needs love.
No. No, that was not me. Like Severus, whatever.
Like, oh, you were on the side of good the whole time that Harry was alive. Well, after his mother died, anyway. Okay, good. Good for you. Kudos. I don't give him that kind of credit either. I mean, he's still one of my favorite characters, but
I just don't give him a ton of credit.
yeah, it's like you've seen the Dom's adaptation review, so you know what he had to say about it, and I kind of agree. I kind of agree.
I think that I'm still hungry.
Here,
And
take
goes.
Yes, take them. Go eat those.
Is that yours?
I took them out of your bag, so they're still yours. Go. Comments, questions. I don't care how random they are for me or her. I hate struggling this much. It's like the last one went so well. I was really looking forward to this. No Dino, no Josh. What the hell? I'm tempted to just turn this off and call Andy on Skype.
Yeah, I'm tempted to do the same thing.
What do you think? Are you up for it?
I get to see myself doing everything twice. That's all.
Hey, you get to see it live up here, then you get to see it live over there.
I'm literally reliving my life.
Oh, during Groundhog Day. That's not good. That is not good. Groundhog Day was such a bad movie. I've heard Happy Death Day is good, though. Which is Groundhog Day, the slasher movie.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, the sequel's coming out this month. Happy Death Day, too. Oh, well, Happy Death Day to you. Actually, the title. Because the first one takes place on the character's birthday. I haven't seen it, but that's what it's about. That's what it takes place. This is me being an idiot on live YouTube. Well,
Lots of
whatever.
people do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, lots of people do it. But when the lag gets this bad, it makes it that much worse.
Yeah.
It was, when it was flowing before, it was... Are you still with us? I really missed the original Beauty and the Beast. Like, I liked the remake series okay. I watched up to, like, the middle of season 3, maybe.
Mhm.
But then it just got heinously bad. Like, I couldn't even last all the way through season 3. And there were only 3 seasons of the original, and I made it all the way through that.
Mhm.
I think I'm starting to lose my voice a little.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, we've been on for almost an hour and a half.
I can handle it, but, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm at a dance or a concert screaming my head off. That would be worse.
Sorry, I'm still amazed at how much you can talk.
You've known me for over 15 years. How can you be amazed?
Because you're getting better with age.
Good one.
Of course, I take a drink and then I start to laugh. Let's do something else humiliating on camera.
Well, you didn't scald your mouth this time, so that's a plus.
That is a plus.
She's still healing from the last time we went live when she scalded her mouth by taking a sip of completely fresh hot cider right before we went live.
Yeah, that was painful. I went to the doctor and all he said was, "You're gonna live." I said, "Well, thanks. I figured as much." But
all right. Well, it looks like we're running out of steam. Looks like everybody is running out of steam because I don't see anything happening.
mm-hmm.
So I think we're gonna close this down for today. Oh no!
Here's a random question.
All right.
Is
Awesome.
there a TV show that you love but was unceremoniously canceled?
Both Beauty and the Beast and Hannibal. I kind of feel that way about Once Upon a Time, but it wasn't really unceremonious. It was like, oh, hey, you got one season left, you know. Mm-hmm. What about you? Everything I love is being canceled right now, so it's kind of like, what's on? What's on or not on this year? Because
Code Black, the
Code Black, I've heard of that one. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it.
Code Black. I was like, oh man, that's canceled.
I'm gonna move the camera a little bit.
Yep.
Because I keep managing to back out of the shot somehow, so.
So,
Vinny.
You promised to behave. I gave you your 10 minutes. Or not 10 minutes, but I gave you your minute. What time is it?
10:15.
Oh, darn it.
what?
It's not late enough to send you to bed. Alright, go watch your video.
Miracles was a very unceremonious cancellation.
Miracles. I haven't heard of that. Is that show that you recently... the show you recently did a top 10 on, the number 9, is that still running, or how long did that air? No, it only ran for some time. I can't remember. So please tell me about it.
Vinny, what do you?
He's getting a juice. At least he thinks he is.
All right, was he supposed to be?
That's fine. He can have a juice.
Okay.
Would you like me to pour you a juice?
Yes.
Okay. Where's your cup? Is it in my room? Go check.
Yes. Oh, no.
Inside number 9 is filming season 5 right now.
All right. Cool. So it's still running. Did you find your cup?
No.
No. Okay. Ah, it's in the thing. Okay. So, Code Black, anything else? Oh, I liked Happy Town. That only lasted like a few episodes. That was the one, that was a show that came on, I want to say it was ABC, could have been NBC, CBS, I don't know. Happy Town was like a supernatural town type show that came on after Lost ended, I think.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch Midnight?
No.
Like
Midnight Texas?
Yeah.
I never actually watched it.
The one the guys got so they liked it.
Oh, I didn't even know they watched it.
Yeah,
They couldn't have liked it that much. You never talked to me about it. But Happy Town, it was like the supernatural town thing. It felt like it was going to be maybe a little bit of Needful Things and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But like Steven Weber played the mayor in it. He was in the remake of The Shining, and he was in Wings. Sam Neill was in it, which is what caught my attention. I was like, how far have you fallen? You're what? And he struck me as the Leland Gaunt, like if you remember Needful Things.
I haven't read.
Have you seen the movie?
Nope.
Oh, darn. You're missing out. Max von Sydow, the original Exorcist. he plays Leland Gaunt, who's like this devil creature. I think it's just posted again. And it's like, Mr. Friendly from Lost was in it, if you can remember Tom Friendly, the character, the gay guy.
Yep. The Miracles was a supernatural mystery show with Skeet Ulrich and Angus McFadden.
They sound vaguely familiar. Skeet Ulrich, I think, wasn't he in Scream? Didn't he play Billy Loomis in Scream? Like Sydney's boyfriend? I could be wrong about whether he played that guy or not. You know what's funny is the character you like who's in Scream, the actor you like who's in Scream and 13 Ghosts, for some reason I just attached the name Skeet Ulrich to him because I was like, yeah, he looks like a Skeet. He's so dorky, you know? If you remember the two killers in Scream.
Yep.
It was like there was the dorky one, and then there was the good-looking Billy one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, he looks like a Skeet. So I always thought the other guy was Skeet for like a decade.
Mm.
I don't think I even knew any better until I watched his review of 13 Ghosts. So like 25 years later.
I love you, Mom.
Love you too.
I wish I could still hug.
I am thinking about closing this down. Are you up for a Skype session?
Matthew Hilliard, who's massive in the world of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, I will take your word for that. Oh, I hate this lag being like 40 seconds behind. It's impossible to keep a conversation going with any kind of flow. Because even if you and I were keeping it flowing like wonderfully,
It would still be,
yeah.
it says can do Skype.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I am going to sign off. Anybody who likes this, hey, feel free to leave me comments and questions for next time. Something for me to talk about. Like, we really wanted to go live and just do this again. Turnout wasn't so hot, but that happens. And I will see you all in my next video reviewing Tin Man or my next live video, whichever comes first. Oh, Vinny wants to say goodbye too. Go ahead, say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye before I completely blow this.
Say
Okay.
goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, okay, he said goodbye.